In this video, we're going to show you the steps to create a source record. From there, we'll add names and places to that source using facts and events, so you can see how everything is connected. By the end, you'll see how these elements come together to build a rich, multi-dimensional project, all within name and place. Now, for this example, I'm going to use a marriage entry from a parish register. To start, we'll create a new record source, which we can do by clicking on the new record source link on the right of the page. That opens up the form to enter all the details about the source, and you'll see that there's a lot of space to be able to record plenty of information about a source. For the purposes of this example, we'll just keep that quite simple, so I'm going to put in the names of the married couple. I'm going to select a source type, which is important because that helps influence some of the other information that we add later. Now, as this is a parish register entry, I'm going to select marriage entry from that list, but you'll see again there's an extensive list of source types that you can select. Also going to put in the source date, so the date of the marriage, which was 5th of September 1889, and I will save that source. Next step is to start adding the names of the people who are referenced on the source, which we can do by clicking on the Names tab here. As this is a new person, we click on Add a New Name, and then we can select the role for that person. Each person and place that's listed on a source has a role, a reason why they are there. The simplest one can just be listed, but for some of the sources we have some more intelligent categories as well. So here you can see the 7 individuals who are listed on this marriage entry, but there's 8 records because I am assuming that Eli Fuchs, the bride parent, is also Eli Fuchs, the witness, and you'll see that it has created 2 entries for him because he has those 2 roles in this marriage event. You also see that I added the officiating minister, D.L. Johnson, and there was a role for him as well. Now, if we go back to the project dashboard, you'll see that we now have 7 names populated in the project alongside our one source. If I click on the 7 names, there you are. You can see all of them created there. If we click on one of the names, like say Eli Fuchs, and we go across, you'll see that on the sources tab, it's got a number 2 there, and that is although it is one source, he has 2 roles listed there, which is why he appears twice in there. If we click down into there, we're back to where we started with the source. Our next step is going to be to start populating some of the additional information. So let's start by creating a marriage event, which we can do by going to either of Albert James or Elizabeth, the bride and groom, and if we click on there, we see their name record. We can go to life events and create a new event for marriage. You'll see when we do that, it automatically pops up a spouse field, so we can put in Elizabeth's name as the bride and the date of the event, which was September the 5th, 1889. We can also put in here a place for the event, and we know that it was St Luke's Church. You'll see that I clicked on add a new place as well there, and you'll see why in a moment, that now we have St Luke's Church in there. Now notice that that's a clickable field, and that means that it's actually created a place record for us for St Luke's Church as well, which automatically already has two names associated with it, with the two people who married at that church. We also have a clue to the age of Albert and Elizabeth, being 26 and 20 respectively, so let's add a birth entry as well. And we can do the same for Elizabeth. The marriage also tells us that Albert was a sergeant in the South Lancashire Regiment at the time. So we can add that information as well, which we'll do under the facts. You'll see that we have one for military rank. We also know that Albert was living in Portsmouth at the time of the marriage and Elizabeth was in Southsea, so that information can be added as well, again under facts. Just select a residence and you can define a place for that fact. So for Albert it was Portsmouth. Click on add a new place. And we'll go back to Elizabeth. We also know two other pieces of information, which are the occupations for the fathers, Thomas and Eli, so that can be added as well at this point. So if we go back to the names, we can select each of those in turn and add those occupations. Now see, as I start to type coal merchant, that it actually comes up in a list below, and that's because name and place has a lot of occupations already predefined in it, which help hugely with the analytics later on. If the occupation is not listed, you can add it as a new one automatically here in the list. I'm going to give a start date here because we know at the time of the marriage that he was defined as being a coal merchant, so we can use that as an opportunity just to give us some information about when we knew that he was a coal merchant. And as we do the same for Thomas, you'll see that also if we type in publican, it comes up there automatically in the list. We have one final occupation we can define, that of the curate. And we can link that to St Luke's Church as well. And again, we know that this occurred, or he was in place for this marriage on the 5th of September 1889. We can also add some more details to the place, St Luke's Church. So from the place record, we can go down and edit that and add in Portsmouth, which is where it is in Hampshire, and also edits the position of the church on the map. When you first start this, it will open up defaulting to around Woburn in Bedfordshire, and then all you need to do is just move that pointer down or across to anywhere in the world where it relates to the place that we're recording. What you'll see now is that a latitude and longitude has been automatically filled in there, and because it's on a street, we can also have a look at the show street view. And if we spin round there, the church is just here behind those trees. There we are. There's the church. And if we click on there, we can also see where it is on the map. We will say if we want to refine that pin, very easy to do by just editing the map location there. Now we have all of these additional pieces of information recorded in the project, which we've gleaned from the source. The final step is to link all of these back to the source record. So if we go to sources and pick up our marriage entry, and if we go to the names to start, we added details for Albert, for Elizabeth, for Thomas, for Eli, and for the curate, Mr. Johnson. So if you click on edit against each of those, what you'll now see is that the information that we've added is available here. And what we can do here is we can connect that up to the source. So which pieces of information that we've entered were derived from this source. So we know the birth, marriage, the fact that it's his spouse, his military rank, and that he was resident in Portsmouth at the time. So of course, in this example, all of those facts and events were related to the source. You'll see now that this has opened it up so that we have little icons here with numbers, and it shows you straight away what do we know about Albert that derives specifically from this marriage entry. Likewise, because one of those was the marriage itself, we automatically have one for Elizabeth, but we can click on edit next to her, and we'll see also that there's some additional information that we can link up. Now see, when I click here for Eli as a witness, I still have the opportunity to state that he had an occupation as coal merchant. Now, technically, the source is not telling us that. We know that Eli Fuchs was a coal merchant from the entry alongside Elizabeth, that he's as the bride's father. We do not know he was a coal merchant as a witness. So you have this level of granularity to be able to define which precise pieces of information do you know for which parts of the source. So in that case, we can leave that blank. Okay, so there we've linked everything up. So that shows us all of the pieces of information that we have for that marriage. Now, if we go to the curate, for example, we'll see that there is a fact under his name, which is that he's the curate at the church, and we have also then the place, and that's the place facts that he was curate in 1889. If we click on the church record, we will see that 3 people are listed there. There are the 2 who are married, and the fact that he was the curate as well. So see how all of the people recorded on the source are linked in the relative places. If we look at the source records for under St Luke's, we can see that again it's the 2 people who are married and the fact that the curate officiated the service. So from the project overview now, we can see a summary of everything that we've done. So we have the 7 names, we have the 3 places, we have the church of the marriage event, and we have the places of residence for the bride and groom. We have our one source, which is the marriage. We have 2 occupations for the 2 fathers, the coal merchant and the publican. And we have 1 relationship, which is that of the spousal relationship between Albert James and Elizabeth Mary.